Well, hello there, and there we are again. This is Michael from Make It WordPress. You can find us on makeitwork.press. And I will be doing a new hosting walkthrough and review. And this time we had the privilege to review and look through DreamHost. So I myself did already a couple of tests and other things, but I want to go through it with you. So stay tuned and let's go ahead. So DreamHost is an American hosting company, and part of the hosting offering is that they have this product called DreamPress, which is a hosting product optimized for WordPress, and we will be looking into that specific product. So let's just head over to the WordPress offerings. Obviously, they offer shared hosting as well for WordPress. I've been testing it, it's okay, but the more interesting offerings are the Managed WP hosting and VPS hosting. And well, if you're new to these videos, I must explain. I'm doing hosting walkthroughs and reviews for WordPress. WordPress is the most used CMS or content management system in the world, which means it's a piece of software by which you can make websites and manage your online content. And a lot of companies actually have hosting specially geared for WordPress. And with hosting, you can have a space online. In other words, it allows you to have a website online and domain. So without further ado, let's just have a small peek in their offering. Well, as you can see here, they offer 3 various managed WordPress hosting plans. I find the pricing very reasonable. Even the starter plan, it's not a really starter price, but it's suitable for a lot of visitors. They have these features such as backups, also staging, and the bandwidth is unlimited. One thing I must note to this plan is that each plan offers support for one WordPress website. So if you need multiple WordPress websites, you will need either one of their VPS plans or buy multiple of these DreamPress basic plans. So what else is DreamPress? Well, let's see a couple of more features of them. As I explained here, you can see that one WordPress website is supported. They have a couple of extra features such as staging, which is a development environment for WordPress. They also have some kind of wizard they call the WP website builder. It helps you to set up a basic WordPress website quite quickly. They will do WordPress updates for you. Jetpack is included, daily backups, and also there is one free domain in it. And one thing which distinguishes DreamHost from other hosting providers, they have email accounts at your domain, which is great. And obviously other features such as FTP access to the shell using WP CLI, which is more a feature for programmers more advanced, is there, and you will have support. Support will be available during daytimes for American times, but the specific time. And outside of these hours, there is support available via ticket, and of course they have quite some documentation there. So that having said, let's log in and start our first DreamPress website. So I'll just scroll up. I already have an account, so I can log in. And there we are. Let's sign in and it will just load. I'll be waiting for you. Oh, sorry, I was singing. Excuse me. That takes a while actually to wait. Let's click again. So, well, if you enter the panel from DreamHost, you will see they're not actually using cPanel or another panel which is used by many hosting companies, but they have their own panel. And as you can see, most of the important items are there on the left. So let's go to domains. In here you can see the various domains you have, and you can also register new domains in it. So DreamHost also actually sells domains, and as you know, a domain is the address on internet, such as makeitwork.press, which is our domain. In this section, you can also manage the SSL and TLS certificates. So if you want to have HTTPS on your website, you can go there and enable it. Obviously, but well, I don't have any domains here registered. And there's also a possibility for one-click install certain applications, especially if you're coming from a shared environment. This can be quite useful. Now we're using DreamPress, so we have a separate tab with WordPress. We go there and we can here opt to use DreamPress. So let's install some DreamPress. So if you click on DreamPress, you will actually end up in some kind of page with all the features of DreamPress. And well, this is quite nice, but if you want to get started, you have to click here and DreamPress will be set up for you. For this testing thing, we will just set up the easy, and I will add. Okay, let's do this again. So I will for this test we will just do the DreamPress basic subscription. I'll do monthly price, and well, I don't have any domains here outside of the basic DreamHost domain, so I could add a new domain here. So add an external domain and point it here to DreamHost. Well, if you're familiar with this, you know how to do that. So it's possible to have domains at another company and point them to DreamPress, which is great, I think. You can also use a temporary domain using the dream.press main domain. And I think this is a great feature to host temporary sites. So, well, let's just add our domain, see if it's possible. We'll be adding the new DreamPress subscription. So this domain is available, and add new to DreamPress. So now the installation is in progress, and it will take about 5 minutes to set everything up. And after these 5 to 10 minutes, you probably get an email with some further instructions. So here we are. I received the long-awaited email, and we can manage our new DreamPress hosting instance. So let's go ahead and hit the Manage button. There we are. So, well, if you hit the Manage button, you will arrive at the overview of this website, which is miw.dream.press. And as you can see, there is a couple of information in here, such as we can edit, remove the plan, we can move up to a higher plan. You can see when it will be renewed, the storage used. There's also some pretty neatly designed switches in which you can see the credentials for accessing your files or your database. And DreamHost also offers some admin interface to manage your files and your database, and they both look pretty neat, actually. So I think design and usability wise, this looks pretty nice. In here, you can change or adapt your domain. So, for example, if you want to use a temporary domain or choose from the existing domains, you can select one here. Obviously, the good thing is that the change domain feature also rewrites all the domain references within your database of WordPress. So your whole installation is updated alone, and that's pretty nice. Actually, there's also a tab with backups. And well, this is a pretty new site, so there are no backups available, but it's possible also to create an on-demand backup. And let's do that. And here we are. The backup is being created. Obviously, this takes some time. As you can see, it's 4:15 here. Good afternoon. Okay, never mind. And at last, they have a new feature, which is, I think, an essential feature for any serious company that is offering website hosting. That is the staging feature. And well, what is a staging feature or what a staging website? It's actually a copy of your main website, and you can use it for development purposes, to test new plugins, to test new themes, to see what happens if you change some things. And the thing of staging websites is that you can copy your existing website, do some modification. If it turns out well, you can copy it back to the main website, and that way it will help you, and especially it will help WordPress professionals in their development workflows. So let's go ahead and we can create a staging site. We can't create a staging site actually here, so that is kind of odd. Let's reload and see. So it's not possible to create a staging site here. Probably, I don't know why. So probably because we are creating a backup. Nevertheless, this is actually the main overview for a single DreamPress website, and I think it's great. It has most essential things. Of course, there are a couple of advanced things missing, especially from a developer's perspective. If you would like have more information on deployments, on how to integrate Git, probably maybe changing PHP versions or the database use. But all these things are actually taken care of by DreamHost. So in that sense, I think it's geared somewhat more towards the beginning, but it offers actually the most of the essential things you need for WordPress. So that having said, if you're a developer, I want to add a couple of details. There's WP CLI installed, so if you log in to the server over SSH, you can use these commands. And there's also a Git installed on the server, so you can also use the command line to do some modifications on this WordPress website. However, these things are not available from the graphical user interface. So some other companies, they offer kind of deployments, which makes it easier for developers. If you're more somewhat beginner, ignore what I said before. It's about logging into the server on a different level as this panel and doing adaptations and edits using commands. So, well, we've managed to add a DreamPress, and actually now our WordPress installation is actually ready, and I have received an email with my login details and so forth. But I can also use this button to log into my WordPress, and this is a single sign-on feature, and we can't find it. Too bad. So, well, we try to access this temporary domain, but it doesn't work. And I think from a usability perspective, this should work out of the box. So that is a bit of a disappointment. But let's see if we can change the domain and then access it. Just choose our DreamHost domain. And let's change the domain. And of course, this takes some time. So let's wait for that. And in the meantime, I can go through a couple of other features. So for example, here you'll have the mail feature, and in the mail feature, you can create new email addresses for one of the domains you have. Obviously, it doesn't work with these domains, but if you have a unique domain, you can actually use these and it will work better. It's just like most of these things here, if you have to use, you will log in and add a password. also forward only emails possible, and obviously you can use your own programs such as Outlook to pull this email out of the cloud. There's also a webmail access in here, in which you can log in over the webmail thing. There are some other things, basic email features such as spam autoresponders and support. Because we're mainly focusing on WordPress now, I won't go into detail for that, but I think it's quite a nice feature to have. So what more do we have here? We have a tab with our FTP and SSH users. And there are no users registered here because we're changing the domain. And at last, there are also some SSH keys registered here, and you can add them on your own computer. It will be, and if you, okay, that's difficult. If you're a developer, you can use these keys to connect to the different servers. So this actually is the DreamHost server here, and we will be able to access this using the SSH keys found here, which is great, I think, especially if you're a web professional developer. Of course, there is some more information on billing and account, your invoices, and so forth. Also, the privilege this account has, from private settings, you can manage your payments, security settings, such your passwords, two-factor authentication, which I think is a really nice feature. Furthermore, there are some additional website-related features, such as that you can see your MySQL databases in here. Actually, these are some former of these databases I used before. This is our DreamPress database, and you can also add some new databases here. You can add cron jobs in here. Furthermore, you can change the HT access, and at last, you can also block spiders for certain domains, such as Google, Bing, or whatever spider. At last, there is also a tab with some statistics. Furthermore, they have a dedicated section for support, and in it, if you click on knowledge base, you will go to the knowledge base part of the website, which actually has a large number of articles on various topics, and these articles go actually quite in depth. They explain a lot of things about using, for example, a command line, logging into servers. So in that sense, they also have a lot of articles for the more professional people out here, and of course are there also a lot of more basic articles about setting things up and so forth. In here you can have also more information about the exact data center you're using, and it's a bit of a disadvantage thing that DreamHost only has data centers in the US, so I also think they're mainly a US focused company. And opposed to other companies such as Kingstars, Heidenberg, who have data centers all over the world. And I think if you have clients, or if the majority of your visitors are from a country outside the United States, they are somewhat less preferred because you would like to have a data center as close to the majority of your visitors, unless you're a global brand, of course, but then there are other solutions. And there's also more information on users and the machine here. And at last, there's a part on contacting support. And if you click that, a pop-up will open and you can type in your question. And then if this question matches some articles from a database, it will be pulled up first. And otherwise, you can also use some more support options. So let's go ahead and click on the contact support button. And there we are now in the support part, and of course there's a connection to support itself, the knowledge base again, and also they have forums, and they support different kinds of support. Haha, funny, no pun intended. So you can chat with an agent, submit a ticket, or even request a callback. And for some couple of questions are here. Another thing I want to show you is that there are some extra resources if you're using DreamPress. So you will have some. Oh, where are we going? I want to go here. So there are some extra features such as something off for certain teams. The digital professional is actually included in Plus and Pro plans. And that has a lot of extra features actually. Gives it, and it's quite nice. There also have some information on some of the most used WordPress plugins. And of course, there's also possibility to integrate your website with Google Sheet. You could see the business package of Google. So now that we have gone through the most important sections of DreamHost, let's go back to our actually managed WordPress instance and see how it's doing. And there it is. Let's see if we can. So the domain has not been changed. Let's see if we can manage it now. All right, so now we can manage it, and there we are. So we have arrived at our WordPress installation at DreamPress, and it works like a charm. So as you can see, Jetpack is reinstalled, and with it a couple of other things are installed. Just let's go to Appearance, Themes, and well, in here there are like 4 predefined themes. There are also a couple of plugins pre-installed. These are also the plugins that were actually shown in the WordPress resources part. These are pre-installed if you add a new DreamPress installation. One good thing of DreamPress is that they handle caching on server level. So technically speaking, you don't need an actual caching plugin. They will have the proxy cache purge in here because it helps to purge cache when content is modified. If you don't know what a cache is technique to drastically improve the speed of your website. Most serious WordPress hosting companies offer it. What it does actually make some kind of static copy of a page, of a WordPress page, and serves that to the visitor. And normally, a WordPress page is like generated by the server, by the code behind it, PHP, and that takes more resources to generate. And a page guess actually makes a static copy out of it and serves that instead, which is a lot faster. Furthermore, this is just like a regular WordPress installation. All the things are in there. This is using the address from my DreamHost account. You will see that there's a new user map with a random username, which is good for safety. Also, there'll be forms installed, in which you can add basic forms. And of course, you could go to the front end, and the front end has the most recent 2020 theme. And furthermore, there's not so much content in it. So I actually also did some testing on DreamPress, and I must say they're quite performant. Out of security reasons, the number of simultaneous visitors is capped at around 300, but the response times are pretty fast, and the server seems to be pretty good. I did find that the DreamPress is a lot better than the shared service. The shared service is, I must say, terrible slow. So if you have a serious WordPress website, I would really recommend it. And I think the startup program is price-wise already pretty okay. It only supports one install, but you have some space, like 30 gigs of space. The performance is good. There are some basic resources installed, which are pretty nice. And also, I think that the interface that you saw for managing the essential things of WordPress is quite good. And what I like about it is that On front, there's not so much information on it. The interface is clean, but on a deeper level, there are a lot of possibilities with DreamHost, and this especially also comes with the SSH access to your servers. So one thing which I find a little bit odd is these kind of errors we had, such as that we couldn't access this WordPress website before, and I also had it similar problems with domains on while I did the testing, the real testing of DreamHost before, and I think these are things that should work out of the box. Actually, I had less of these problems when I was logging in my VPN, so probably it has to do that I'm in the Netherlands and they're having their data centers in the USA. But who knows? I think the DreamHost is actually quite good if you're like in between a beginner and more a pro. They have they offer actually most of the features you need for hosting CS WordPress site. So that was it. If you have any questions, any comments concerning this review, concerning this walkthrough, please leave them below. I also have a written review on our website, which has a lot of more detail concerning DreamHost. So you probably want to read that. And thank you for your time, for your attention. And let's go ahead finding the best possible WordPress hosting companies out there. Have a nice day.